What's up, Keep Pounding crew? We're back today with another video. Keep pounding. Today's topic is day 4 of training camp, back together Saturday. If you like the video, if you like the channel, if you like the streams, hit that like button, hit that follow button, hit that bell, select all, leave a comment down below if you feel like doing so. And don't forget to follow the Facebook group page, Keep Pounding in all caps, for in-game posts, polls, opinions, and reactions to NFL news, as well as schedule releases for the channel content. Alright, let's get into it. So, I was not available Thursday and Friday for training camp practices, so we're going to get into what I should expect today from these boys. Alright, so listen, I'm hearing a lot of good talk about the secondary right now. I'm loving Dante Jackson's pass deflection so far. I'm liking the interception so far in camp, from what I'm hearing. I'm very pleased with that. I'm liking this secondary right now. I heard Melvin retired, so that's not new news to me at this point. And we signed Chris Westry from the Broncos, who they cut. So I'm looking forward to see what he can do. I'm not as familiar with him. I did not get a chance to look up his numbers or anything last night, so because I was on the C3 podcast, Friday Free For All, so I did not get time to look that up. I've heard the name before, but I'm not familiar with who he is. So we're going to find out. And a lot of Panther fans probably aren't familiar with him as well. But from what they were saying on C3, the guy has a lot of speed, and that seems to be the theme right now, is speedy guys, that can keep up with these fast wide receivers in the NFL. The one-on-one matchups, especially since you got Julio Jones going to the Tampa Bay Bucks. So, this is going to be J.C. Horn matched up with Julio Jones if Horn can come off that PUP list and be healthy. That'll be an interesting matchup, and I want to see a healthy J.C. Horn.
In a quarter mile, turn right onto the I-85 North Ramp to Spartanburg.
That has always fascinated me, as some of these matchups that we get against NFC South opponents. And typically, we've seen a lot of good wide receivers come through the NFC South. So it's been some entertaining matchups. Yes, our corners have gotten burned a lot of the times, but I think this corner crew is a lot better than the ones that we've had in the most recent years. So what I expect is that the secondary will start to challenge our wide receivers today in practice and really push those envelopes, especially when you get the pads on Monday. Then that'll really ramp up. And we're going to see just how good these two starting quarterback competitors are. Sam Darnold and Baker. I do think Matt Corral...
Turn right onto the I-85 North Ramp, then merge onto I-85 North.
Competition right at the moment. But, we'll see. We'll see. I only saw a couple of passes from him. He hasn't really been getting the bigger reps right now. And as Matt Rule says,
continue on I-85 North for 20 miles.
Evaluating for the starting role yet. We're not even close to being ready. And I agree with him. It's way early. It's first week. You're going to see a lot of mistakes. You're going to see a lot of stuff that gets ironed out. once you start to see those pads get put on, then things start to get real interesting. So that's when that competition starts to ramp up. You'll start to find out how good these guys really are. And I've heard a lot of flack about that one interception that Sam Darnold, Baker threw in day one. I ain't even worried about that. Come on, man. Ain't nobody worried about that. This is day one. You're making a mountain out of a molehill here. And I really do believe, out of how many touchdown passes did he throw on day one? You're going to throw one interception. Come on now. Again, it's day one. People need to calm down with this whole narrative. And everything that you see in day one is going to be bloated anyway, one way or the other. So I think wait till we see pads, a couple days of pads, wait till they get adjusted to that, and then you can really start to evaluate. Tuesday will be my day that I'm going to be there, and I'm going to really start to evaluate that position at that point. I'm going to start looking at footwork, I'm going to start looking at technique at that point with both of them. And I'm going to see, okay, are y'all just playing it safe and checking the ball down, or are you getting aggressive when you got pads on? That's what I want to see. And again, the name of the game is keeping people healthy during training camp and practices. So if you manage to do that, you win for the day. In the first checkbox. The second checkbox is, did you progress as a player that day? Did your coaching skills improve that day? So it's just as much of a test for the coaching staff as it is for the players. And a lot of people don't hit on that, but it's true. Another thing I'm going to be looking at is that offensive line. Again, I want to see how they gel. I want to see how they progress as a unit. There were some questions about Corbett after the first couple of days. So I'm going to be taking a look at him. And there were a couple of people that mentioned Cam Irving as well during the C3 podcast. So I'm going to take a look at him as well. Let's see what happens. Again, I'm looking at footwork, I'm looking at technicality, I'm looking at how are you gelling with the rest of the line, I'm looking at a few different things. So, and mind you, Cam Irving's been through the system for 2 years, for a whole year now. This is his second year. So, let's find out what we're dealing with. Now is the time to really push that envelope if you're Cam Irving and say, okay, what is my glass ceiling that I need to break, and how am I going to break it? Second year players, that's what you expect. Rookies, you're just trying to get acclimated, but the year 3 people plus are working on technique, footwork, all that detailed stuff. So that's what I'm expecting to see out of that. I do believe there's a little work to be done at the quarterback position right now. But, like I said, I'm not evaluating that fully until next week. You can look at the numbers, you can look at the stats, you can look at the overthrown balls and stuff like that, but again, they're not in pads. So, once they get in pads, then you'll get a proper evaluation once they get settled in. And Sam Darnold's been through the system for a year. so than Baker, here in Carolina in this heat. And Baker learned real quick not to wear those tights. Lesson learned, buddy. You know what I mean? Lesson learned. We tried to tell you. Hey, next time, man, listen. We love you all the same, man. But you gotta get used to this stuff down here, man. It's a little different from what you see up in Cleveland. But, hey, much love to you, man. Much love to all the players. And much love to all the coaches. Let's see how people improve today. I saw Louvu caught like an interception or something like that. Or was that just a drill that he was doing where he was catching balls? I'm not entirely sure, but I saw that on Instagram and I was like, okay. Okay, Louvu. Let's do work, man. I have a strong feeling that Louvu is going to have a good season this year. I just have that strong feeling, guys. Terrence Marshall Jr., DJ Moore. We're going to see a couple others have a real good season this year. And all that's going to show up in the stats. It may not show up in the record books, as a win or a loss. It may not show up in the places that you want it to show up, but it'll show up in the stats, and that's where you want to see it in 2022. Because honestly, I don't feel good about our chances of making the playoffs. So if you see a bump up in stats, like
there's a speed trap ahead.
DJ Moore hitting 1,000 yards, let's see 1,200 this year. You know what I'm saying? Let's see 1,200. Push that glass ceiling a little bit. Push that bar. You got Brian Burns that wasn't able to hit double-digit sacks. Let's see those double-digit sacks this year. That's the progress you want to see. And unfortunately, we did miss out on Carlos Dunlap, which is a shame because that is an excellent, excellent defensive player. And, he's getting older, but he's still got a lot in the tank. So, good luck to the Chiefs with him, and I hope that becomes a successful endeavor for them. $8 million, I feel like that's worth it for Carlos. We've been in talks with him for 2 weeks now and couldn't get the deal done. So now we're going to try to get somebody else. Who would you like to see come to the Panthers? There was a lot of talk about Sue. There was a lot of talk about a few other players. Somebody put up a post about it, and I don't recall the players' names offhand, but I do encourage you to check that out. That discussion is very strong and ongoing right now. So, feel free to jump into that if you want to on the Facebook page. But right now, we got to focus on the players that we have, and let's just see what we're doing with. And we'll go from there. Alright guys, take it easy. Hope to see you guys in the next video. We'll be doing a stream after Back Together Saturday. There will be no film footage. Remember again, they're not allowing us to film, but I can take notes. So you will see a lot of notes today from today's practice. I'll have to catch up on days 2 and 3. Like I said, I had stuff to deal with, so expect that stream to be at least a 4-hour stream because we got a lot of content to go through. Alright guys, thank you so much, and take it easy. Stay happy, healthy, and well, and keep pounding.